Stay with me, please! Help is coming!
At that exact moment, the elevator doors opened. Alexander Harrison had returned early. The entire floor fell silent. He immediately noticed the tension. What happened? No one spoke. Finally, Daniel stepped forward. The Harrison diamond necklace was found inside Emma's bag. Alexander waited. Inside Emma's bag. Silence. Alexander slowly turned toward Emma. She looked as though she might cry. "I swear, I didn't do this." For several long seconds, Alexander said nothing. Everyone waited. Would he believe the evidence or the woman he had trusted? Alexander looked at the necklace, then at Emma. Finally, he spoke. "I don't believe it." The room froze. One executive whispered, "What?" Alexander's voice remained calm. Emma didn't steal that necklace. Olivia stepped forward. "Alexander, it was literally found inside her bag." He looked directly at Olivia. "Exactly, which is why this feels far too convenient." He turned toward the head of security. "I want every second of security footage. No edits, no missing cameras. Every hallway, every office." He looked back at Emma. "You said someone planted it." She nodded. "Yes." Alexander smiled reassuringly. "Then let's find out who." For the first time since the accusation, Emma felt hope. But Olivia, for the first time in years, felt something she had never expected: fear. Because she had made one critical mistake. She had underestimated Alexander Harrison. I'm really enjoying where this story is going. Here's the next chapter with a stronger cinematic pace and a major twist. The truth hidden on camera. The executive floor was silent. No one moved. No one spoke. Every eye remained fixed on Emma. The velvet jewelry box still rested on the conference table. Inside it, the Harrison diamond necklace sparkled beneath the lights, as though mocking her. Alexander stood at the head of the room. His expression was unreadable. He looked at the head of security. "Bring me every camera angle, immediately." The man nodded. "Yes, sir." Within minutes, the company's security team rushed into the surveillance control room. More than 300 cameras recorded every corner of Harrison Tower. There was only one problem. Someone had deleted part of the footage. Missing minutes. The chief technician frowned at his monitor. "Sir?" Alexander folded his arms. "What is it?" "The footage from camera 18 is missing." Daniel looked surprised. "Missing?" "Yes. Between 12:14 p.m. and 12:27 p.m. Alexander's eyes narrowed. "Can someone delete security footage without authorization?" The technician swallowed. "No, sir. It requires executive clearance." The room became silent. Only a handful of people had that level of access. Alexander, Daniel, the head of security, and Olivia Sterling. Emma waits alone. Meanwhile, Emma sat quietly inside a private conference room. No phone, no laptop, just silence. Although Alexander believed her, she couldn't stop replaying everything in her mind. Who would do this? Why her? A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. The door opened. Margaret Harrison stepped inside carrying 2 cups of tea. Emma immediately stood. "I'm so sorry." Margaret looked confused. For what? For bringing problems into your family. Margaret smiled warmly. My dear, you didn't bring this problem. You exposed it. Emma sat down slowly. I don't understand. Margaret handed her the tea. People reveal their true character when someone good enters the room. Emma looked down at the steaming cup. What if they never find the truth? Margaret reached across the table. They will, because my grandson has one flaw. Emma looked up. He never stops. The hidden camera. Back in the surveillance room, Daniel suddenly leaned toward another monitor. Wait. Zoom in. The technician enlarged the image. It wasn't camera 18, it was camera 27. A hallway outside the executive archive. The angle was poor, but something caught Daniel's attention. A reflection. Inside the polished glass wall, someone could be seen walking toward Emma's desk. The image was blurry, almost impossible to recognize. Alexander stared carefully. Can you enhance it? The technician nodded. It'll take a few minutes. Everyone waited. Slowly, frame by frame, the picture became clearer. A woman wearing black gloves, carrying a small velvet box. She looked around carefully. Then she opened Emma's handbag, placed something inside, closed the bag, and walked away. The room erupted. It's exactly what Emma said. Alexander remained focused. Show me her face. The technician zoomed. Again, the image sharpened. The woman turned. Her face became perfectly clear. Gasps echoed throughout the room. It wasn't Olivia. It was Rachel Pierce. Who is Rachel Pierce? Daniel looked stunned. She works in internal compliance. Alexander frowned. I've met her once. The head of security spoke quietly. She's worked here for 6 years. Excellent record. No disciplinary issues. Alexander stared at the screen. Bring her here. The head of security hesitated. Sir, Rachel left the building 30 minutes ago. Alexander's eyes hardened. Find her. Olivia's shock. Meanwhile, Olivia watched the live security briefing from her office. The moment Rachel's face appeared, her heart nearly stopped. She whispered, No, this isn't possible. Rachel wasn't supposed to be seen. She grabbed her phone. The call went straight to voicemail. Again. Voicemail. Again. Nothing. For the first time, Olivia looked genuinely frightened, because Rachel wasn't just an employee, she was the person Olivia had secretly paid to plant the necklace. If Rachel talked, everything would be over. A dangerous escape. Across the city, Rachel Pierce hurried through Grand Central Terminal. She wore sunglasses, a baseball cap, a large backpack. She constantly looked over her shoulder. Her phone buzzed. Olivia calling. She ignored it. Buzz. Again. Ignored. Finally, she switched off the phone completely. She whispered to herself, I never should have agreed to this. She reached into her backpack. Inside was an envelope filled with cash, $500,000, the price of betraying an innocent woman. Rachel's train began boarding. She took one step toward it, then another. Suddenly, a calm voice spoke behind her. I wouldn't get on that train. Rachel froze. She slowly turned around. Standing only a few feet away was Daniel Brooks. Behind him, 2 Harrison security officers. Rachel realized there was nowhere left to run. The confession. 1 hour later, Rachel sat inside a private interview room. Her tears streamed down her face. I never meant for it to go this far." Alexander sat across from her. "Then tell me the truth." She looked down. "I planted the necklace." Silence. "For whom?" Rachel closed her eyes. Daniel leaned forward. "The truth is your only chance." Finally, Rachel whispered, "It was Olivia." The room fell silent. Alexander didn't move, didn't blink, didn't speak. He simply stared ahead, because the woman his family had trusted for years had just declared war on someone whose only crime was being kind. Alexander slowly stood. His voice was calm, almost too calm. "Bring Olivia Sterling to the boardroom." Daniel nodded. "And if she refuses?" Alexander looked toward the city skyline. "She won't, because for the first time in her life, Olivia Sterling is about to discover what happens when she mistakes kindness for weakness." The fall of Olivia Sterling, 1 hour later. The executive boardroom had never been this quiet. Every board member sat in silence. Senior executives lined the walls. Even the company's legal team had been called. News of the emergency meeting had spread throughout Harrison Tower. No one knew exactly what had happened, but everyone knew it involved Olivia Sterling. The massive doors slowly opened. Olivia entered with the confidence she had worn for years. She glanced around the room. Then her eyes settled on Alexander. He sat at the head of the table, calm, expressionless. That frightened her more than if he had been angry. "Alexander," she said with a practiced smile, "what's all this about?" He didn't answer. Instead, he nodded toward an empty chair. "Sit down." Something in his voice made the smile disappear. The evidence. Daniel walked to the large screen at the front of the room. Without saying a word, he pressed a button. The surveillance video began to play. The room watched in complete silence. Rachel Pierce walked into view. She looked around carefully. She opened Emma's handbag. She placed the velvet jewelry box inside. She walked away. Gasps echoed around the room. Olivia's face lost its color, but she recovered quickly. "This proves nothing." Alexander finally spoke. "It proves Emma was framed." Olivia folded her arms. "Perhaps, but it doesn't prove I had anything to do with it." Daniel opened another file. "Rachel Pierce has already confessed." Olivia laughed. "A confession? People will say anything under pressure." Daniel calmly placed a document on the table, a signed statement. Then another, bank records. Then another, phone records. Then another, security access logs. The table slowly filled with evidence. Each document pointed to one person, Olivia Sterling. Desperation. For the first time, Olivia looked genuinely afraid. She stood abruptly. "This is ridiculous." Alexander remained seated. "Is it? You can't prove I intended to harm anyone. You paid an employee $500,000 to frame an innocent woman. I made a mistake." Alexander looked directly into her eyes. "No, you made a choice." Silence. "You tried to destroy someone's life because you were jealous." Olivia's voice cracked. "I did it because I love you." The room fell completely silent. She turned toward Alexander. "I've loved you for years. I stood beside you. I defended your family. I waited. And then," she pointed toward Emma, "you hired her. You smiled at her. You trusted her. You never looked at me that way." Alexander slowly stood. His voice remained steady. "Love does not destroy innocent people. It protects them." Olivia closed her eyes. For the first time, She realized she had already lost. The board's decision. The chairman of the board cleared his throat. Miss Sterling, based on the overwhelming evidence, your employment with Harrison Luxury Group is terminated immediately. Another director spoke. The matter will also be referred to the district attorney. Olivia's knees nearly gave way. She had spent 10 years building her reputation. In 10 minutes, it was gone. She looked toward Alexander one last time. I really did love you. Alexander answered quietly, no. You loved the idea of owning me. Those words broke the last of her composure. Without another word, she turned and walked toward the door. As it closed behind her, the room remained silent. No one celebrated, because even justice could feel heartbreaking. An unexpected discovery. As everyone began leaving, Daniel hurried back into the boardroom. Alex! Alexander turned. What is it? We found something in Rachel Pierce's apartment. Daniel handed him a small leather notebook. It wasn't listed in the evidence. Alexander opened it. Inside were handwritten notes, dates, names, company accounts, private meetings. His expression changed. This isn't about Emma. Daniel frowned. What do you mean? Alexander slowly looked up. Rachel wasn't just helping Olivia. He flipped another page. Every entry,